Hi there, and welcome to the Home Educated Podcast, a place for the modern day homeschool family. You hold their hand, we hold yours. I'm your host, Holly. Thank you for being here. So, this is our first episode of the Home Educated Podcast, and we just want to welcome you and thank you for taking the time to be here. I wanted to answer a few questions about what this podcast is. Who am I? Why are we here? What are we going to cover? So we'll go ahead and just start out with some of those. So, who is Holly? Who is the team? So my name is Holly Whitwer. I am a mom of 3 beautiful boys. They are age 10, 7, and 2. They're all crazy. They are literally outside of this room beating each other up right now. And I love them. I love being a boy mom. It is the greatest joy that I have in my entire life. I am also an event planner by trade. That is something that my mom was an event planner. Whenever she was growing up, we were always the people that people asked to help with their baby shower, help with, their wedding, and we were always just there for it. So I have actually turned that into a small business, and I love getting to be able to do that work outside of family and raising the boys and educating them at home. We live near the Las Vegas Valley in Nevada, and we have a team full of moms that came together in order to do this podcast for you guys. And we will get to introduce them a little bit later on. So we've got Maria and we have Amanda, and they are both amazing homeschool moms. They have different stories for each of them. They have different amounts of kids, different ways that they homeschool, and I'm really excited to be able to introduce them to you. They are the backbone of everything that we do here at Home Educated. So you might be asking yourself, next question, what is Home Educated? What is that? What does it mean? Where did it come from? So Home Educated actually started out years ago as NEVCON, the Nevada Homeschool Convention. So what happened was 7 years ago, I was planning events for other people. People would hire me to do festivals and conventions, weddings, all different sorts of things. And I was sitting down with a friend of mine, and we're both very this entrepreneurial spirit, and we bounce ideas off of each other all the time, just strong, confident women. And so she was asking me, hey, if you could host any event that you wanted, and you weren't doing it for someone else, what would it be? And before she even finished getting the sentence out, I was like, it would be homeschool. It would be something to do with homeschool. And she was like, oh, okay, great. She was like, that would be awesome. You should do that. No, and so, of course, as the person that I am, I'm like, yeah, I should do that. Okay, I'm going to do that. So that was my goal. And literally within just a few months, myself and her and another friend of ours, hopped into a minivan, drove down to another state, and we were like, we are going to their convention. We're going to look at everything that they're doing. We want to see what we can do and how all this works. What even is any type of a homeschool convention? What is this all about? And we went there, and it was amazing. We felt this huge sense of connection to other people. There's something about being in a room with a group of people that have at least one thing in common with you. And you are just like, there's just like a buzz about it of excitement. And the thing that was in common between all of us was homeschooling. And so that was really exciting for us. And so we had a great girls' weekend. We learned so much. We came back from the convention so motivated to homeschool our kids. And we were just like, we can do this. We can keep doing it. We're not burnt out anymore. We felt completely refreshed. And so a couple months after that, I started launching what is now come to known as NEVCON. And we have over 75 vendors who come every year. We had thousands of people show up to our community night. And we have fabulous speakers who teach on all sorts of things from Homeschooling 101 all the way to can homeschoolers even apply to college? And so we realized that at least here in the Las Vegas Valley that there was a huge need for education on what homeschooling is, what a micro school is, what is the difference? How do I homeschool? Where do I start? What kind of curriculum do I use? What if I don't know how to teach math? What if I'm really bad at math and I can't teach my kids math? And so that's what the convention was. So it's a 3-day weekend once a year, And it was absolutely fantastic. I got to meet amazing moms who are now on this board that is home educated. And we are coming up with all sorts of fantastic things to be able to present to the community as a whole about educating your kids at home and educating yourself at home as well. So NEVCON as a convention was a complete success. Everyone that came was like, we want more. We want more speakers. We want more education. We want more meeting up with other people. We just want more. We want this to be longer. We want it to be more than once a year. Like, we just need what this is. And the first year I was like, that's great, but we will see you in a year. That was a lot of work to get all of that done. And so I was like, no, I'm sorry. I cannot give you more. I gave you my whole life to do this 3-day convention. I'm glad you had a good time, but there will be no more. And that was kind of just what I had settled on. And so we just finished up the second year in March. And we had done the second year. And again, fantastic, great community. People are just flooding the streets with alternative education. And so that was another sign to us that people wanted more. So the team and I got together. We talked about things that we could do better for next year at the convention, what went well, what didn't, all of the above, what we do with all of our events. And the biggest thing that kept coming back to us was that we can't just be doing a one-time-a-year event. This one-time-a-year event is great, and it can get you going for, a long time, but people need more education. They need more connection. They need more community. They just need to feel like there is a space for the people who are educating outside of the public school system. And so the team kept saying to me, they were like, we need to do a podcast. We need to do a podcast. And it just was going in one ear and out the other. Like, I was like, yeah, I know we need to do a podcast, but like, let's do this first. Let's do that first. We have other things we're doing, guys. Like, people don't listen to podcasts, even though I currently listen to like 5 different podcasts. I was just kind of like, that's not our jam. That's just not our jam. And so one of the days we were just doing our virtual meetings. Kids are running around in the background. And Amanda was like, we need to do a podcast. So when we get our podcast going, then we can do X, Y, Z. And I was like, oh my gosh, we totally need to do a podcast. So, because that's how it goes with me. If you don't say it like 5 to 10 times, then I've got like 20 other things in my mind. So I was very grateful that they stayed vigilant on that, because now I understand that the beauty of the podcast is that we do get to give and take that education year round. And we get to do it just like that convention, that feeling that I had at the convention of camaraderie with people who have something that you agree with. And maybe you're not going to agree with everybody 100% of the time, of course, but there's just something about having some sort of connection with other people around you. And so this podcast is meant to be that place. We want you to ask questions. If you ask us questions, then we can find the answer. That is one of the biggest things that through the convention, people, I think, started to see me as a professional that knows things about homeschooling. And I'm like, I don't know everything about homeschooling, but I am definitely going to find you the answer, Mama, because I will not let you flounder. Like, I am here to not let anybody flounder when they have decided to step outside of that traditional education. So I'm very excited to be able to bring on other professionals who are professionals in this field. We're going to bring on other parents that, have questions, that are new to homeschooling, that have been educated in homeschooling. We're going to bring on a lot of different people who have written curriculums themselves and why they wrote them. So you'll be able to get to hear really in depth about the backstories on some really awesome curriculums and different products and things like that. So that is kind of how this whole thing got started with Home Educated. So my next question that I want to answer for you guys is, why now? Like, why is this so important right now? And the real reason is that the numbers are showing that the enrollment is going down. Here we're in the Clark County School District, and all of the stats that are being shown, they're trying to chalk it up to the fact that people are having less kids. And yes, sure, that's part of it. But the reality of it is that people are unenrolling. They're extremely unhappy with what they are seeing. Nevada is at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to anything education-wise. And so, like I said, I'm not like revealing some huge secret. It's public news. And so with that, families are finding that they are unsatisfied with what is going on in the classrooms. And that is not just educationally. They are unsatisfied with the amount of bullying that is happening. They're unsatisfied with the learning that's happening. They're unsatisfied with the amount of kids that are being abused within the school system. And it's just gotten to the point where parents are taking action. They aren't satisfied with what they have anymore, and they're desperate. And they're desperate to get their kids out of that place and into somewhere that is safe, which honestly is so sad. It is so sad that it has not been a safe place. So if that isn't your school district, that's okay. That is the school district that we live in. And so as a team, we have all decided to take our kids out of that and step in a different direction. And that's where we are. So if you are in that space, we would love to be able to talk to you. If you are in a space where you're like, you know what, the public school system in our area is actually really great. We have fantastic teachers, which we do have a lot of really fantastic teachers in CCSD, believe me. I tell people all the time, whenever I start harping on the school systems, everyone's like, yeah, but the teachers, and I'm like, no, don't get me wrong. Let's pause right there. Those teachers are saints. They're going to be front of the line at the pearly gates, okay? Because they are 100% saintly, okay? They should be knighted, like whatever, give them the Medal of Honor or something, because those teachers are being asked to do the absolute impossible. And I will tell you, I've got a family full of teachers. I love teachers. They are underappreciated, underpaid, overworked. It's just outrageous, the things that they're being asked to do. And the fact that they have, 30 kids in a classroom, I could go on. I'm rambling now, but I will finish this thought. The fact that they have 30 plus kids in a classroom with no aid, and they are expected to teach all of those children anything, just that alone, not even the fact that they're not getting the pay that they should be getting, not even the fact that if they want to buy book sets for their classroom, they have to do that out of their own money. If they want a decorated room, that they need to pay for that with their own money as well. And I am just like, this is absolutely outrageous. I don't know about you guys, but I have never had a job where I had to spend my own money on something. And if I did, it was because I wanted it. It was something personal, but it wasn't really something that was required to do the job. If there's something that is required to do the job, they should be paid for it. So anyways, we can have a whole episode on the fact that teachers are saints. And that is how I feel. I honestly feel that they are amazing people. The majority of them got into education because they wanted to better children, and the system is failing them. So anyway, again, we'll have a whole episode on it. But that is why this is happening now, is because COVID was a huge hit to public schooling, right? Everybody was an at-home learner. And the majority of people hated it because it was all online and you were trying to get learning done on a computer and it wasn't working. And then some people were like, this is the best thing ever. And I'm going to keep my kids home all the time. I love having them home. I love us learning together as a family. And so then it was kind of like the choice was out there, right? The choice was out there to be able to either stay at home or send your kid back, right? I sent my child for 4 days to the public school system and was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And he had an amazing teacher. She was phenomenal. It had nothing to do with her. It was the fact that, we'll get into it. But there were reasons why I was like, this is not for us. It took me about 4 days to realize and convince my husband that this was just not our lifestyle. I did not want to have to do school pickup and drop off. And we were walking there. We moved to a place that was close enough so that we could walk and drop off our child at school. And I still was like, this is not working for us. I had another baby at home and I was just like, just the schedule in itself was enough to make me be like, I'm not doing this to my life, right? So I think that since then we took him out, and we started homeschooling, and I can tell you that whole story about recreating public school at home. We'll have an episode probably about people trying to recreate public school at home and realizing that that doesn't work. And then we've never looked back. Once we kind of started learning what to do, it's been years and years and years, and this is our life now. I'm running a business, I'm parenting, I'm educating, I'm doing all of the things, and my kids are all there for it. They're there with me, and I wouldn't picture it any other way. I absolutely love it. So other families, I feel like, are waking up to that. They're waking up to the fact that they don't like that schedule. They don't like the way that maybe the public school system has dimmed their child's light. They don't like the fact that, if they get a bad grade or miss a homework assignment, that their child will be shamed for that. There's just a lot of things I think that people are waking up to, and we can go on about that list about why a lot of other families are waking up to it, and they are feeling the same thing. I hear a myriad of answers. So the fact that we kind of launched the convention at the same time that all of these families were interested in homeschooling, just, it was perfect timing. This podcast, the magazine that we have that is going to be coming out, all of the different resources that we have on our website, which is home-educated.org, all of those different resources that we have are just exploding. Anything that we put out that's informational about educating from home is over the top. People want to hear about it. They want to know what's going on. They want to know how to do it. So my next question that I'd like to answer is some of the things that we will talk about in the podcast in the future. And the first ones that we're going to start off with are like 10 steps on how to start homeschooling. One of the ones near the beginning that we'd like to do soon is terminology that surrounds quote unquote homeschooling, home educating. What is a micro school? What is a co-op? Like, if you still want to send your kid to something, but you don't really know what it is, or do you want to have them home all day, right? We will talk about different laws, and we're going to do a lot of different topics. And so the majority of them are going to apply to the United States as a whole. Some of them we will have that are local to Nevada specifically, and we'll just mark those ones with, hey, this is for our Nevada residents. So feel free to skip those if you are not local. I do want to kind of just wrap up by telling you guys that, first off, thank you for being here. Like, the fact that you're taking any time out of your day, which honestly, I hope that you're doing something else while you're listening to this, because we're all busy, and if you can be like doing the dishes and listening to this, if you can, be driving to and from work or grandma's house and listening at the same time, please feel free to do it. This is just a place for you to be able to come, to be able to hear other people's experiences, to feel connected, to feel heard. And again, ask us questions. We want to hear what you have to say. And something that I want to promise to you guys is that as we continue these episodes and as we're answering your guys' questions, that myself and my team, we are moms, we are working from home moms, we are parents, we're home educators just like you, and we will never lie to you. We will do our best to give you the facts. We will do our best to present the information completely non-biased. So yes, we want to make sure that you guys know that this is not white Christian homeschool mom podcast. Okay, that's not what this is for. We're not politically affiliated in any way, shape, or form. Like, each member on the team has their different religious beliefs, their political beliefs, and stuff like that. But that's not what we're here for. We are here for the greater educational system. So if that is something that you had a question about, I wanted to make sure to answer that as well. We're going to be honest with you guys. We'll never recommend anything that we don't personally do or use ourselves. Like, we're not in this to make a buck. We're not actually making any money at this point. And we want to make sure that you guys know that we are here for you. We really are truly passionate about spreading education, about alternative learning. And one awesome thing that we're going to do every single episode is we want to share with you guys, because tell me if this has ever happened to you before, okay? your child, because once you get them out of the public school system and they become those little geniuses that they are, and they start running up to you and they always say, Mom, did you know blah, da, 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 right? Insert random fact. And I'm always like, no, I didn't know that. How did I not know that? What a cool fact. So every time that you come on here, we're going to share a fun fact with you so that way you can go back to your children and be like, guess what I learned while I was listening to my podcast today? Did you know? So our fun fact for today is, did you know that cows have best friends and get stressed when they are separated? So if you feel stressed out whenever you're separated from your friends, you can relate to the cows now. I thought that was a good one. And it also honestly is kind of cool because that's what this community is all about. Like, we want to make sure that you feel connected. If you live local, like, we want to meet you. We want to meet your family. We want to hear about why you started homeschooling. I love hearing about why people started homeschooling. So please let us know why you're choosing alternative education and whether that is a co-op, micro school. Like, we're lumping that all into alternative education because we feel like anything outside of the public school system is alternative, and we just want to help people to find whatever works the best for them. So ask your questions in the comments. We want this to be a real conversation, not just another voice that is talking at you on the internet. My promise is simple. I'll never recommend something I don't truly believe in, and I hope this becomes a safe and encouraging space for your family. Thanks for listening to the Home Educated Podcast.